Let's learn about how decimals and fractions are similar. In the picture here, you see a decimal point. It's found in between the whole number ones place and the tenths place. Notice that this has a THS at the end of it. It's not the same as the tens place. So if I'm thinking about money, when I think of decimals, think of a 5 in the ones place as being worth 5 $1 bills. A 4 in the tens place would be worth 4 $10 bills. A 3 in the hundreds place would be worth 3 hundredths. So when talking about decimals, we're talking about values that are less than one whole. So a 6 in the tenths place is worth, if we were thinking in money, 6 dimes. 7 hundredths is worth even less because it's about the same as 7 pennies. Thousandths, even though it sounds like thousands might be more than tenths or hundredths, not in decimals. The further we go to the right from the decimal point, the smaller the value is. So let's look at some examples. I see here 1/10. That shows that 1 out of 10 are shaded. I see an equal sign here. This is a hundreds chart or a hundreds grid. There's 100 little boxes. It's the same value as 1/10, but we say this one is 10 hundredths because 10 little boxes out of 100 are shaded. Let's look at how to write fractions and decimals. So this is 9/10 or 9/10 written in a fraction. What if I wanted to turn that into a decimal? 9/10 is 0.9, or a 9 in the tenths place. So you can actually call this decimal 9/10. Here we have 9 hundredths, which is also the same as 0.09, but you're probably going to hear me say this as 9 hundredths. 9 hundredths as a fraction, 9 hundredths as a decimal. 3/10. How would you write this as a decimal? 3 in the tenths place, 0.3, or you'll hear me say this as 3/10, just the way I would say it as a fraction. What about 11 hundredths as a fraction? If we were going to write that into a decimal, we would see 0.11 or 11 hundredths. Let's do some practice with writing these in decimals. So here I have some decimals written in word form. 4/10. I need to write that as a decimal number. So it's proper to use a 0 before the decimal point, and it shows 4/10. That means I need a 4 in the tenths place. So 0.4 or 4/10. You can easily turn that into a fraction just by the way that it sounds. So we have 4/10 in words, 4/10 as a decimal, 4/10 as a fraction. 400ths. This means I'm going to have a 4 in the hundredths place. So let's go back to that decimal chart. Where is the hundredths place? We have our tenths, then our hundredths. So I need a 4 that is 2 spaces over from the decimal. Sorry, wrong place. So 0.04 is 400ths written as a decimal. Now if I want to turn that into a fraction, 4 over 100 or 400ths. Let's take a closer look at these two with pictures. So 2 ways to describe parts of a whole. 4/10 as a fraction. You can see the picture here has 4 out of 10 shaded. There's 10 total, that's my denominator. There's 4 shaded. 4/10 as a fraction is written. Sorry if you hear some loud kids in the background, that's my son. So we have 4/10 as a fraction, 4/10 is as a picture, and then 4/10 as a decimal. Notice at the end it has that THS, 4/10. We have 4 out of 100 here. So this is kind of like 4 pennies out of $1. So 400ths is less than 4/10 because 400ths is like 4 pennies, 4/10 is like 4 dimes. So we would write 400ths as a decimal with a 4 in the hundredths place. So converting back and forth between tenths and hundredths, you can do so by simply adding a 0, but what you're really doing is multiplying top and bottom by 10. So if I wanted to convert 4/10 into hundredths, I would need to take 4 times 10, which equals 40, and 10 times 10, which equals 100. Remember, multiplying top and bottom by a fraction will give us an equivalent fraction. See how these two, even though they're divided up into different parts, like this one is 10 total, this shows 100, those are the same amount shaded. Let's look at 9/10 and 900ths. So 9/10 in words would be 9/10 as a decimal or 9/10 as a fraction. 900ths is going to have a 0 in the tenths place and a 9 in the hundredths place. We'll write that as 9 over 100. So we have 9/10, 9/10, and 9/10, 900ths, 900ths, and 900ths. Shown here in this picture, we're going to shade in 9/10 compared to 900ths. So I'm going to take a little shape and fill in 9. Let's see, should I fill in this many or I think we'll move this one over here because that shows 9 out of 100 or 900ths. For this one, I need 9/10ths. So I'm going to be thinking of filling 1, 2, 3, 3/10ths, 4/10ths, 5/10ths, 6/10ths, 7/10ths, 8/10ths, and 9/10ths. Which is more, 9/10ths or 900ths? Well, I can compare these by using a symbol that shows greater than, less than, or equal to, and 9/10ths is greater than 900ths. For your assignment for today, you're going to be looking at this square. The square represents 1. What fraction does the shaded portion represent? Well, I know that since we're looking at this out of 100, I'm going to count up each one of these little squares. So this row has 10, this has another 10, 1800ths. How do I put that into a decimal? Well, we need a 1 and the tenths. Wait, I did this one wrong. Hold on. Okay, start over. This has 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 hundredths. Miller mistake. So when I put that into a decimal, I'm putting a 2 because there are 2 rows of tenths and 28 hundredths as a fraction, 28 hundredths as a decimal. Hope this helped.